Video proof helps to legitimize crazy stories, and today we have theme park rides gone wrong, trains on fire, explosions, and more to make you do a double take. A terrifying video captured an underground hydrothermal explosion at Yellowstone National Park, which is located principally in northwestern Wyoming and partly in southern Montana and eastern Idaho. Yes, it's a little confusing. The blast caused people to flee for their lives, so it took place in the national park's Biscuit Basin area, which originates near Black Diamond Pool, so about 2.1 miles northwest of Old Faithful. Footage showed several tourists running for their lives along the boardwalk that leads up to the thermal pools. And as you could see, chunks of rocks are spewing in so many different directions as people are screaming and bolting and panicking. So the United States Geological Survey, or USGS for short, did report that the eruption didn't injure anybody. But still, the entire area and its parking lot and boardwalks were kind of closed after the incident, for a reason. Horrified Instagram users reacted in the comment section of the video we showed you, saying, "What incredible experience you've had! I can't imagine being among the first people to ever witness such a fascinating geological event." Somebody else was like, "Yeah, this is incredibly scary. I'm so glad you're all okay." And somebody else was like, "Glad no one was hurt. Mother Nature at her finest." Somebody had a similar story to share, saying, "OMG, when we were at the same place last year, it was barely steaming. This is just so scary and amazing at the same time. Glad you guys are okay." Somebody else was like, "OMG, that is amazing and incredible that somebody was able to capture the explosion. Great footage. Good job getting it on video. Way more than a once-in-a-lifetime experience. Now I hope someone can get Steamboat Geyser erupting." The agency also said that the explosion doesn't exactly indicate volcanic activity, and magma rising towards the surface wasn't the cause of the blast. So 2 people died and 27 people were injured when an amusement park ride snapped in half as it swung up into the air at the Kankaria Adventure Park in India. Video footage that we have captured the moment, and it's scary, folks. So the pendulum-style attraction was just going back and forth, as one does, and then it collapsed while 31 passengers were on it. You can clearly see that the main shaft on the Discovery ride broke, which sent the entire ring of seats at the bottom crashing to the ground. Not to make light of the situation, but watching the ride support snap like a twig was pretty surreal. There were other clips on social media that showed other visitors to the park trying to free the people left trapped in their seats at the adventure park, which is in Ahmedabad in Gujarat, India. So the police did launch an investigation after the incident, and news outlets reported that 6 people were charged with, neglect and whatnot, which include, by the way, the managing director of the Superstar Amusement. A quote from the municipal commissioner said that he had instructed officials to determine the cause of the accident. He said, "We need to find accountability for such horrific accidents," and he did offer sincere condolences for the families of those deceased, and he was also praying for those that were injured. One of the folks who passed away in the incident was identified as a woman named Manali, and her father told news outlets that he was shocked to lose his daughter in such a manner. Apparently she was fun-loving, always smiling, very happy, and the accident served as a reminder that parks like that one should not be handed over to irresponsible managers. The police commissioner even tweeted out saying, whatever happened was extremely unfortunate, but everybody was committed to ensure that those who were guilty were given the maximum punishment and to make sure that those who were injured were getting the best possible treatment to recover. The ride itself is not dangerous because there are many other similar rides at theme parks around the world, but I'd be wary of the company who made it and the folks who operate it because it seems obvious that the issue stemmed from either a lack of maintenance and upkeep or from being poorly assembled in the first place. So at least 4 shops were uprooted and fell into a river from really crazy rain in the video that we have for you next, which is a wild landslide. So the video of the incident, which went absolutely viral on social media, showed the exact moment when all of these stores and places were swept away by the strong current of the floodwaters. Well, a lot of folks standing nearby were just kind of in shock. There was rescue personnel who had to pull the body of a woman who got buried under the debris out of a building, which was hit apparently by another landslide in the early hours of the same day. The woman and her daughter were trapped under their home because it collapsed during this crazy freaking landslide. Now, folks who were doing all of this rescuing were notified at about 3 a.m., but the landslide, the one that was earlier in the day, happened at 1:30 a.m., which is wild. The district information officer of the area said that every single outlet was working on it, every public works department, state disaster response forces, they were all doing their best. There was ambulances trying to move as fast as they could, but because of the landslide, they couldn't get to a lot of things. Under the leadership of the chief constable, everybody was trying to do the rescue work as fast as they could, and that's when they found the body of Sarita Devi, who was buried in the debris. But this next crazy video shared online captured the moment a plane was struck by lightning shortly after it took off from Vancouver International Airport. So the man who shared footage of the strike mentioned it happened on Sunday, March 3rd of this year, and it was just before 7:30 in the evening. The flight appeared to be an Air Canada aircraft that was bound for London's Heathrow Airport, and in the video you see it taking off from the Vancouver airport before a bolt of lightning comes crashing down, illuminating the sky as it hits the plane. The large blue flash can be seen at the back of the plane during the moment of contact. So Ethan West, the man who captured the footage, describes himself as a plane spotter, a hobbyist who enjoys watching and recording aircrafts, and he was at the Larry Berg Flight Path Park near the end of the South Runway at Vancouver International Airport on this fateful night, and he's like, hey, there's a Boeing 777. One of his favorite planes was departing, so he's like, I'm gonna get some video. And good thing he did, because he caught the moment it was struck by lightning. So Air Canada did confirm in a statement that a flight leaving the airport on that day had a lightning strike, and it was inspected upon arriving at Heathrow and is all good apparently. Turns out planes are actually built to withstand lightning strikes, and all aircrafts then are taken out of service afterwards to be checked by engineers. And apparently, while lightning hitting a plane might not be too rare, video capturing it is a lot more uncommon. So West is like, ooh, I'm glad I was in the right place at the right time. According to him, there was no lightning predicted in the weather forecast, so it was just kind of out of the blue, pun intended. He's like, I wasn't even thinking about it at the time. I was just thinking about getting a cool video of this airplane. Lucky him. And finally for today, drivers and bystanders in London, Ontario, Canada bore witness to a disquieting and surreal sight one weekend when a train passed through the city while somehow engulfed in flames. Though residents in the locale that is about 2 hours away from Toronto are used to seeing locomotives travel by on overpasses and at crossings and on routes that run alongside some major roadways in the area, nobody was prepared to see one speed by while a handful of its cars were actively on fire. So the incident, which occurred late at night back in April and affected a Canadian Pacific Kansas City Limited train, wound up needing about 28 firefighters from multiple crews to try and get rid of the flames, as everybody else was just kind of marveling in awe. Videos taken from different vantage points near the scene and shared to socials show a lot of plumes of fire and smoke erupting. And this was like a lot of feet into the night sky, and the train was just chugging along. They're like, oh, we're near trees, we're near roads, we're near homes. We don't know we're on fire. It appears that the conductor finally stopped in the middle of a crossing near the Richmond and Pall Mall streets, blocking off vehicular traffic because everybody was like, what is going on? According to the London Fire Department, about 5 railway cars carrying old wooden railway ties were involved, and the authorities clarified no dangerous goods were involved, but they were like, hey, maybe everybody should just stay inside because of the excess smoke, because they don't want that. After a defensive attack, first responders finally got the emergency under control at about 12:30 in the morning, which was more than an hour and a half after the fire was first reported by frantic people calling it in. A local building belonging to a residential rental company sustained about $10,000 in damage, and the rail cars that were destroyed were about $25,000. So nobody really knows what the root cause was, but London Fire did applaud, being able to get everything under control really quickly. Well, that's the end of that, folks. I've been Alexa, your resident ookie spooky girly. See ya!